Hey guys, and in this video I'm going to show you how to solve the Skewb. First of all, before we actually get into this tutorial very much, I just want to say that on my last video that I posted, which was the updating video, I said that I would post the average of 5 video next. However, I ran into some problems where I accidentally deleted the files that the video was in, so I just had to restart the whole video. Now when this happened, it was too close to the posting date for me, so I just decided to make a Skewb tutorial instead. So back to the Skewb tutorial. These are the pieces on the Skewb. We have one center piece and 4 corner pieces. The only difference of a Skewb from a normal 3x3 is that there are no edge pieces. Another thing to note is that the turning, it cuts through the cube. It doesn't turn on the outside like this. So that's something to keep in mind as well when you're solving the Skewb. So next, let's go over the notation. This is L. Or left clockwise, whichever one you prefer. This is R. This is L prime. And then this is R prime. Now, something very important when you're solving a Skewb for the beginner method is the sledgehammer. And what the sledgehammer is it's basically just those two parts of notation and doing them in a specific order. So this is what it is. The sledgehammer is simply this: L, R prime, L prime, R. And you just continue to do the sledgehammer for certain steps when you're solving the Skewb. You might come up with a pattern, something like this. So that's pretty much what you do when you're solving the Skewb for beginner method. You just use that move set to solve it for the algorithms. And so lastly, we have the color scheme. The color scheme on the Skewb is the exact same as a normal 3x3. We have white is opposite of yellow, green is opposite of blue, and orange, is opposite of red. Alright, so now that we have the basics down on our Skewb, let's jump right in and actually begin our solving of it. Alright, so the first step in solving the Skewb is to solve the first layer. Now for us, we will choose the white side, since that's probably what you're used to solving on the 3x3, but you can really choose any side, and this method will work the same way. Now the thing to note immediately about your Skewb when it is scrambled is that the color scheme is not the same. In our case, white is no longer opposite of yellow. White is opposite of red. As you can see, when you turn the Skewb, the centers move in their positions. So right here I'm going to make white opposite of yellow again, just by simply rotating it down like this. So white is opposite of yellow again. But when I rotate it up, white is no longer opposite of yellow. So that's something to keep in mind when you're solving your Skewb, is that the centers are not correctly, or the color scheme is not correct. So that's one of the steps in solving the Skewb, is to correctly move around all the center pieces. But we'll worry about that later. Anyhow, for the first step, we need to get all the corners on this first layer. And what you want to do is, you notice on the 3x3 that for this first corner here, we can just go ahead and take this white, green, and red corner piece, and we rotate it up like this. So now it's on the white face. Here's that same corner piece on the 3x3. We want to notice that the corner color to the right is also red. So we need the other corner that has red in it to be on this right side. And that corner is right here. When the corner is right here, we need to move it down to this bottom layer. So we can just move it down like this. And then we need to rotate it so that it's in the correct position, so that when we move it up, the white is on top. So we can simply do that by rotating this up, move it back up here, and then solve our first white corner piece. However, it's still not oriented correctly, so we just need to go ahead and do that same thing again. So bring it down, rotate it over, move it back up so that's it back up in the white face, and then solve our first corner piece. So as you can see here, both corners on this first layer are the same color. This is what we want. So now we're just going to go ahead and move on to our next corner piece, which we need to find the corner piece that has blue in it. Because as you can see here, this corner piece is blue, so this one would need to be blue as well. And that blue corner piece is right here. Now in this case, all we have to do is simply rotate it up once. And so now it's on the top layer. And it is oriented correctly. So our last white corner piece, which is this one, needs to go right here. So what we're going to need to do is, we notice that when we rotate it up, it's not correctly oriented. So we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing we've done before, which is bring it down, twist it, or rotate it so that it is in the correct position, so that when we rotate it back up, that's solved, and then bring this other corner back. So as you can see here, we have solved our first layer on the Skewb. And to make sure we've done this correctly, we just want to make sure that all of our corners are the same color on each face, which they are. So we have done this step correctly. Okay, so the next step in solving the Skewb is to solve the centers. What I mean by that is to move them around so that they come on the right face. And so what we're going to need to do is we need to make sure that we have all of our corners in correctly, which we do. And we're going to use these corner colors to tell us where these centerpieces need to go. So for example, this green centerpiece right here needs to go right here because these two colors are green and they're already solved. So we know that the centerpiece needs to go here. But how do we do that? So what we need to do is we need to find the centerpiece that needs to go here, which is on this top layer. And so what we need to do is we need to hold this case right here so that the center that's facing us, one on the top and one facing us, and we need to do this algorithm. L, R prime, L prime, R. So as you can see here, we have bumped this green centerpiece out from here and correctly placed that red centerpiece. So now we can move this one in correctly. Again, making sure that the place it needs to go is in front of us and the centerpiece is above us. This is the algorithm. L, R prime, L prime, R. So we've moved the centerpiece in. However, you may notice that you bumped out the red centerpiece. Now this is okay because whenever you do the sledgehammer, it replaces these two pieces and moves the two pieces on the sides to the opposite face. So what we want to do now is we want to go ahead and put this orange centerpiece in right here to replace it from the red centerpiece. And if we keep doing this process over and over, as you will see, we will eventually solve all of our centers so they will be in the correct position. So as you can see here, both colors are orange, so that means the orange centerpiece needs to go here. And with holding the place that it needs to go in front of us, and that centerpiece on the top, we're going to do this algorithm. L, R prime, L prime, R. So we have moved the centerpiece in. And once again, we have swapped these two centerpieces. So now if we go ahead and rotate our cube over, we discover that the only piece that needs to go in now is this red centerpiece. And if we switch it with the yellow, it's going to come back up to the top. So we're just going to go ahead and do this algorithm one last time. Remember that the face that this centerpiece needs to go in is going to be facing us, and that this centerpiece is in the top layer. So we're going to do this algorithm. L, R prime, L prime, R. So as you can see here, we have correctly solved all of our centerpieces. Okay, so the last step in solving the Skewb is to correctly orient all of these corner pieces. So what we're going to do is we need to look for two patterns, and these are the two types of patterns you will have when you're solving the Skewb. first one is what we have here. We have two headlights and two pieces that are on the front or back of us. And this case is similar to that of a 3x3 when you're solving the last layer corners. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold the headlights, so I will call them, to the left side. And with the yellow centerpiece as our top face, we're going to go ahead and do the sledgehammer 2 times, not just once, but twice. And this will solve our skewb. This is the algorithm. L, R prime, L prime, R, L, R prime, L prime, R. So we did the sledgehammer twice, or sometimes known as the double sledgehammer, and we solved our skewb. Now let's take a look at the other case you might have when you're solving the last layer. Okay, so this is the other case you might have, and it's when we have only 2 of the 4 corner pieces that are not in the correct position. So what we need to do is we need to find the corner piece that, when we're holding the yellow face as our top layer, it is on the left side, and it is facing us, which we have it right here. So we're just going to go ahead and do the double sledgehammer with holding this corner piece on the left side facing us, and yellow is our top face. The algorithm is L, R prime, L prime, R, L, R prime, L prime, R. So as you can see, we've done the double sledgehammer, and now we have the case that only takes 1 more double sledgehammer. Again, we're going to want to hold the headlights so that they are on the left, and with yellow as our up face, we're going to do the double sledgehammer 1 last time. L, R prime, L prime, R, L, R prime, L prime, R. So as you can see here, we have solved our skewb. Thanks for watching this tutorial on how to solve the skewb, and if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. And please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it.